Hey guys, so this is my vintage 1970 Bernina 730 record. It's a vertical oscillating hook machine, post bed with a flatbed attachment. For the most part, it's all metal, everything except for a few nylon gears and a couple plastic pieces here and there. But overall, it's a super heavy duty machine. It's a little bit more modern than a lot of the machines that I have, maybe by 15 years. But ever since picking up my Bernina 217, which is my main industrial block stitch bottom feed machine, I was so impressed with that one that I wanted to pick up a domestic version, domestic Bernina. And this one has not disappointed. It's super nice, super smooth. Typically I don't like oscillating hook machines. I don't like the sound of the rattling bobbin case, and I don't like they're typically not as smooth as a rotary hook machine. This one is a rotary hook, this 217, full rotary hook, gear driven. This one is not. But it's still really smooth, and I really like it. But I was having some adjustment issues with this machine. Nothing to really detract from its actual use. So I just kind of lived with it, but I figured I would address it this afternoon, just figured I'd fix the problem. So, and apparently other people are having it too. I ran across people asking similar questions. I can't remember if it was a Yahoo group or on one of the forums. But so I figured I'd post a video on a how-to. So if you have this machine and you have the same problems, hopefully this will address it for you. And if you don't have this machine and you're curious about just seeing the internals, that's a lot of what really appeals to me on these vintage ones, is just like the engineering behind them. So it's always fascinating to see the inside, to me at least. So if you don't have it, at least you can take a look and see the internals on this thing and see how it operates. So anyway, the issue is with the decorative stitches that this thing has. It has a cam stack built in with 20 different stitches, decorative stitches. And one of the nice features on this is that it has a little window here that shows you where those decorative stitches end, and where you are in the actual stitch. So if you want to tie together different patterns or whatever, but this little window here needs to line up. So this one is for your tension, so you can ignore that, but this one will show you here. I'll run the machine so you can see it, and you see how it rocks back and forth. That shows you where you are in the stitch. Now when you get to there, that's the end of the pattern. And a lot of the machines, this doesn't line up correctly. Mine didn't line up, so I figured I would just show the fix on how to do that. It's not terribly difficult. You just kind of have to know what to adjust and how to do it. So for the procedure for doing this, first thing I did was drop the feed dogs to go in this darning position. So feed dogs are lowered. You're going to want to move the stitch, the decorative stitch selector, into position number 12. It's kind of like that angled triangle. And the reason being that at the end of that pattern, the throw of the needle goes from the far right position to the far left position. So it's really easy to catch the beginning and end of that pattern, whereas some of these are more difficult to identify. So you're going to go to number 12. Grab a piece of scrap fabric, just whatever you have, and put that underneath the presser foot. It's not going to move since you have the feed dogs lowered. And so what you're going to do, now this is what's so cool about this machine, is it basically like disassembles. But this one, the top pops up and you have access to the internals. And you can see here, everything's, all the oiling points are painted in red. There's actually two belts in here. You can see one of the belts here. I mean, just the way that everything fits together here, just the engineering on this is phenomenal. But this is your cam stack. Here's a little thing that swings. You can see it, how it operates there. So here's the procedure. You're going to go down and you're going to, well, the first thing you're going to want to do is look at the throw of this piece here, this little indicator. You're going to operate it and make sure that it goes equally, that this middle line throws to the right as much as it does to the left. And on mine it goes a little bit too far to the right, but my screw is really seized up in there, and it was literally like a millimeter difference, so it wasn't really a big issue for me. I just left it. But if yours is substantial, where this is kind of lopsided, it's swinging too far to the right or too far to the left, you're just going to want to loosen this screw here. This one right here. Just loosen it up and just angle it to whatever position until that throw is even. Okay, once you do that, and it's not lining up, you're going to go back here and you're going to just basically run the machine. And you can see it go through its pattern. And you can see it's closing in on the right section. And then that was it right there. So you see it, let me go back a few stitches. So you can see it'll do its final stitch. And then right there you see it swings from far right to far left. That's the end of that pattern. So what you're going to want to do, the end of that pattern is right there. So as soon as that needle comes up out of the fabric, the pattern is ended, it's terminated, and it's ready to start it over again. At that point, you want so let's run it one more time. Right there, it gets close, and then it jumps. So let's go one more time. It's getting closer, and then it jumps. So you want it, so you want those marks to line up here. Oh, sorry. A little bit too close. So you want those centers to line up. Mine did not. It wasn't even close. It was like the line was like way over here. So here's the procedure for doing that. Leave the needle where it needs to be, right as it's exiting the fabric. Okay, you're going to take a small screwdriver, something like this size, and you're going to go and you're going to look down, and there's a little set screw right behind this gear. This is like a nylon gear, and there's a little collar, silver collar, and there's the set screw. You're going to drop the screwdriver down and just back that off, loosen that up a little bit. And when you loosen that up, it will allow you to rotate this gear in the front that's driving this swinging mechanism. So let me turn a light. Hopefully it won't overexpose the video. So, okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. Now what I did was use another screwdriver. So once that was loose, so you can see the set screw there. Once that's loose, I used this piece here as kind of like a pivot point. And I took another larger screwdriver and I dropped it down. Now these are nylon gears here too, so you don't want to use a lot of force, and it shouldn't take a lot of force to move it. But drop that screwdriver down into one of those gears in the teeth and just move the gear. Now you should be able to rotate this freely pretty easily once that set screw is loose. And as you rotate this gear, it's going to pivot the front of this either to the left or to the right. So you just need to move it until yours matches up. And it shouldn't take much to get it, depending. It shouldn't take much force. And then once you get it to the position that it needs to be, you just tighten this back down and you should be good to go. And then you can verify it just by sewing with any of the patterns. So you can start, for this one I know it's going to make that jump right there. I'll go one more time, I can catch it. Right there, it makes that jump. So I know that the pattern ends, and I can look at my window there and see that those line up. And then I can switch over to any other of the patterns because these all start and end at the same point. So I can go and go to that pattern. With the needle, you want the needle out when you make that adjustment, by the way. So it wants to be a little bit above the fabric if you're going to move that, because you see as you move this lever around, that needle moves. So then you can go to any other pattern and you can start it, and it will start right at the beginning. And so you can connect and link them together, and then you stop, and then there it is. So this is that's how you make that adjustment. It's called the setting the ornamental stitch pattern indicator. So this is the pattern indicator. So hopefully that will help a few people and solve some of your issues. So if you don't have one of these machines, highly recommend it. But there's the fix for the pattern indicator. All right, thanks guys.